Alright, this one's going to be, it's pretty simple, like the title states. Um, I used to always hear the statement when I was moving from job to job. I'd hear from coworkers before I'd leave that job or when I was looking for another job. Well, the grass ain't always green on the other side. And I would move to the other job and it wouldn't be any better. They just, sold themselves to me to get me to accept the role. Just like they want you to sell yourself to them to get the role. One day, it just come to me. Somebody said the grass ain't always greener on the other side. I had been tired of hearing that. And it dawned on me. And I said, okay, you're probably right. But at least it's a little bit better. At least it's a little bit more maintained. And what that means is, if you don't realize just yet, think about your yard. You've got grass out in your yard. Well, if you mow it, whether if you mow it or you pay somebody to do it, or you live somewhere to where they have people that take care of it. That grass may or may not, it may be, green grass, as green as it's going to get. But let's just say it gets neglected. And neglected over time, more and more. Every now and then it's mowed and weeded and clipped, but not like it should be. Well, not just for that reason, but you decide it's time to move on. And you find a place to where the grass isn't any greener, but you notice during the cutting season, it's better maintained. It's mowed like it should, weed eated, edged, bushes trimmed, overhanging limbs clipped. Think of that like you would think about an employer. The one that you're at, it's as green as it's going to get. But then they start slacking off on the maintenance of the yard. You're the yard. The people, their employees are the yard. They start slacking off on taking care of. That's what makes people want to go look for a different piece of green grass. Because maybe they see that is taken care of better. Taken care of more. Hold on. Well, never mind. Stand by real quickly for 1 second. Sorry about that. My daughter wanted something real quick. Yeah. It may or may not be um, they're not taking care of they've got green grass, but they're not taking care of it. They've got a business that's running, and they're making money, but they're not taking care of their people. And when something takes place, their people are the first ones that get attacked and blamed. They don't want to attack and blame the actual problem, because that would make too much sense. And that means it would get fixed, and then there wouldn't be any more problem. So you go looking for something that's better maintained, and maybe you find it, and maybe you don't. Maybe they gussied up the place because they knew you were going to show up to come see it. And then once they get you in the door, they're not worried about gussing it up as much. They're not worried about pruning as much, mowing, weed eating, edging, whatever. They're not worried about their soil. They're not worried about none of that mess no more. But then there are times you do finally reach and come across that employer who really does care. They don't just preach it, they actually act it. And that's what you want. And I know that's very difficult to find. And I know you got to sift through a lot of that flour before it finally before it's finally exposed and you finally get it. I get that. But yeah, I mean it's a very true statement. Grass may not be greener on the other side, but their people are taking care of that piece of property more than what this place is, what your current location is. Another thing, employers need us more than we need them. Now, before you comment on that, before you get those thoughts in your head about, I guess maybe you don't need money to pay bills, but I do. Maybe I guess you're finding money, doing all these YouTube and things like that. You're paying your bills with it. That's not what I said, and that's not what I meant. A business owner can't keep the doors open if he doesn't have revenue coming in. I keep saying he, it could be he or she. I'm just going to say he, and you can understand what I actually mean by it. I'm not going to go back and forth. The way they get their revenue, obviously, is by selling their product or providing a service. They depend on their employee when they get too big for their britches to help them out and help bring in that extra revenue because they're slammed with work. Well, this is the part where they need you more than you need them, because you're coming in with the credentials that they are begging for, that they're drooling over, and you're giving them an opportunity to show that they care more about you than they do money. It's okay to care about money, but you got to care about your people first. Not for the people, the money wouldn't ever be there. So, they bring you in, put on a show, put on a dog and pony show. You start making them money. And then they forget where they came from. They forget what led them to that. And then they want to start demanding and thinking that You care that much about your job and a paycheck that you won't walk away to find another one. And they start becoming very arrogant and greedy. That's when you have to show them. Well, I guess you don't maintain your grass like you showed. Time for me to. I'm going over here. The grass is being maintained better. And then the employer realizes what they did, but they won't admit to it. It'll always be, we wish the best for them, hope it all works out. Even if they offer you something more, it's probably not going to be worth hanging around. Oh yeah, we'll get better, we'll do better, we'll treat you better. They might do it for maybe, I don't know, a couple weeks, couple months, whatever. Maybe a year. Maybe. I doubt it'll last a week. Probably not even that long. So yeah, that's what that pretty much all means. Always remember, grass may not be greener on the other side, but do they maintain that grass better? Do your homework. Not saying jump ship just because you get frustrated. You will, if you jump enough ships, you will ruin your work record, and then it'll be harder for you to get hired on somewhere. I know. Been there, done that. I've already written the book, and I'm trying to advise you now. I mean, I get frustrated at work myself. I mean, I have my good days and bad just like everybody else does. But I won't be told I've got to break the law or lose my job. That's illegal. But anyway, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Yeah, we're already 13 minutes in. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Right now, I don't have another idea for another video, so this might be the last one I do for a period of time until I think of another one, and that happens randomly. So, take care. Be safe. Stay dry. God bless. Later.